Welcome to the 20th episode of the Mouse Bros podcast.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm his wife, Amanda.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at The Mouse Bros. We'll be releasing new episodes every Friday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest podcast. If you have any suggestions for upcoming episodes or just want to say hi, you can email us at mousebrospodcast@gmail.com. If you're planning your next Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Universal Orlando vacation, you're going to want to reach out to me, Ryan Noppinger, with Capture the Magic Vacations. You can reach me at ryan.noppinger@ctmvagent.com. This is a no-cost-to-you service to use me as your travel agent. I'll make sure you get the best vacation package or deal for your whole family. I can also help make dining reservations and plan fast passes to make planning your Disney vacation less stressful and more magical. On today's episode, Amanda and I are going to talk about our most recent Disney vacation aboard the Disney Magic. Our cruise was a 5-night cruise to the Bahamas from Miami with a Marvel Day at Sea, and this all took place from February 22nd to February 27th. And Amanda is actually filling in for Randy on this episode, just because Randy wasn't on the cruise, so...
That'd be a little weird if he was just joining in talking about his favorite parts about a cruise he didn't take.
That would be weird. He had us on video then the whole time, which is even weirder. We need to have a conversation the next episode, next time I see him. So, I guess the format that we'll go through all of this is we're just going to take our 5-day cruise, which actually is it's like a 6-day. The 6th day is kind of like just the
2 half days.
The getting off of the ship, basically. And yeah, they actually do call day 1 you getting onto the ship, which is depending on when you board and stuff like that. But we can talk about more of that. Kind of almost can count as a half day. So going in right from day 1. We flew from BWI, Baltimore, Washington International, Thurgood Marshall Airport to Miami. Our flight left at a bright and early. It wasn't even bright.
It wasn't even bright. It was dark.
At 5:06. So we were at the airport at what?
I want to say
4?
At least by 4.
Yeah. We were there at least by 4. We had to drop off.
We left here at
car.
2:30, 2:45.
Yeah. And then the flight landed in Miami at 7:50. And I guess also to mention, it just wasn't us on the trip. Mm-hmm. We were also joined by my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and...
my grandmother.
And
I guess I could have said...
my grandmother-in-law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's your grandmother. Who actually was gracious enough to take us on this cruise.
Whoop, whoop.
Because she loves Disney, and she'll be turning 94 this year, so she's
older than Mickey.
Yes, that is true. That is true
when you think about it. So after the whole airport thing, we had some time to kill, so we went and ate breakfast. Horrible breakfast, by the way.
Yeah, wasn't it like Margaritaville?
Margaritaville, but it was breakfast, but it was a weird...
It was right outside of security line, so it was just it was all around just a weird thing. I mean, it was fine because we knew we were going to eat on the ship, but after being up at 2:30 in the morning and...
You wanted a full breakfast, which that was not. No. So, like I said, we had some time to kill, mainly because... the buses from the airport to the dock didn't start until 10 a.m. So, of course, we got, maybe by the time we got into the airport off the plane, maybe 8:10.
Yeah, something.
20 minutes to get off the plane.
Well, we were the last ones to get off the plane because, we had to get, we brought a wheelchair along just in case. So we were waiting for that. And you know how people are when they get off a plane. It's
a mass scramble.
Yeah, and it takes longer than it should. But... yeah, I would say maybe 8:15, 8:30 even.
Yeah.
took us a while.
But once we checked in to say, yeah, we're taking the bus, they handled all of our luggage underneath the bus to the ship, and then we got on the bus. That took about, they said it took like 15 to 25 minutes because of traffic, but it definitely didn't seem that. I guess because you're too excited to go.
They're playing movie, like a little movie on the bus, just kind of like Magical Express if you took it from the airport to like your Disney resort, kind of the same setup.
Right. So once we got off the bus there, we had to, did we see our luggage anymore? Did we grab it? Or no, because we had the tags on it, it went to the room, right? I feel like...
No. We had to get it from the bus and put it... Oh, no. No, we didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
We just left. It was weird because I think when we got coming back from the cruise ship was when we saw it more. So that's why I was confused. But yeah, we didn't see it.
We didn't see it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they take care of it.
Yes.
You just hope for the best that it gets on your cruise ship.
Hope that it shows it in front of your room.
Yeah.
Which is a nice added benefit that then you don't have to worry about lugging more suitcases around.
Right, because you're already excited to see the cruise.
And you want to run around the ship once you get on it.
And your room's not ready until like 3, they say. So if depending on what time you get on the ship, you could be lugging around your luggage for a while.
For a while, yeah. So we checked in, I guess, at the port terminal there. There was no line. I'll say that. We really walked right up to the person saying, go to this counter, go to this counter.
Yeah, it was a bunch of counters, like booths that you would go to, like numbered
which
1
seemed
through
like
whatever.
organized chaos.
Yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah.
But there they get all your information, your license and all that jazz. And then at the end of it, basically, they give you a boarding number that then they call to say, okay, boarding group number 10 can now board the ship. So it's not everybody boarding the ship all at once. We were assigned number 19, but luckily we were able to move up to number 5.
Remember, I mentioned my 94-year-old grandmother. We pulled the whole wheelchair card. And because, I mean, if we sat there for 19, like for boarding group 19, I don't know how well she would have held up just kind of sitting in the...
Yeah, she's already been... all of us have already been up since...
2:30.
2:30?
2, really,
I think we got up at 2.
Yeah.
So we're completely out of it by this point. But still all thrilled and excited to get on and explore. So we boarded at right around 11:30 a.m. As soon as we got on, we ran up to eat really quick. I think we viewed a couple things in the main lobby, and then enough to look at a map to say, where's the buffet?
What happens when you first walk on the ship? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yes. As soon as you walk onto the ship, a cast member kind of talks to you for a couple seconds, and then, what's your family's last name? You're like, it's Noppinger. I thought I checked in. Like, what are they going to do next? Well, they actually announce it over the cruise ship, like the PA system there in the main lobby, so then everyone hears, and then
Everybody's
so they said, Disney Cruise Line or the Disney Magic welcomes the Noppinger family, and then all the cast members that are standing there, which 15, 20 maybe cast members, and they're all clapping and cheering. So it definitely made you feel welcomed.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. So then we searched for something to eat. So we went to the buffet cabanas, which was it busy at that time?
It wasn't as busy because we were one of the first groups. And I think most of the time when people get on, not everybody runs to the food first because they want to kind of see the ship and they're more excited about that. But we were hungry.
Yeah, no, we absolutely were. It seemed like a lot of other families, once they got on the boat early, they would change their kids into their bathing suits if they weren't wearing their bathing suits already, and had them go swim because the pools... They filled up really quick,
right?
Especially throughout the whole entire cruise. At least the family pool seemed very, very busy. So we ate, and then we had, I think, a little bit more time to kill. So we just walked around the ship, and then wasn't our room ready? And then we went to view the kids area, right?
Yeah, because we went to, I guess, see the room as soon as we could, really.
Yeah, because we were beyond exhausted.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hurried up to the room. They say 3, but maybe it was like 2:45, if that.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that late. I think they say 3 because, one, they can't do every single room at the same time. So, they're going to do levels and stuff like that. But yeah, I think our room was one of the first to get done.
So we ran up, and we took our time, I guess, relaxing and putting all of our clothes away because we knew we were going to be there for at least 5 nights.
Hopefully.
We decorated the door, which before researching into the cruise, had no idea this was a thing. It's most definitely a thing.
Don't feel weird about doing it if you go on a cruise.
Yeah, no, definitely not. If you don't do it, you might even feel left out, like, oh, why I should have thought of this or downloaded this thing from Etsy. And well, we made our own, we made our own pin board that was kind of just, they call it on the honor system, of course, and then anybody can come up to your door, trade pins. I really like the whole pin trading thing and carrying pins around at the parks. So to have my own pin board, which pin boards are actually huge in the parks at like merchandise locations and stuff, to have that on my door was a unique experience to say, oh, what new pins do we have now?
And like every night coming back from dinner or even if we were just out at the pool or whatever, we would just walk by other rooms and you see the other pins. I mean, there was one right down the hall from us that we traded.
We checked
every day.
Yeah, every day.
Everybody walks by, and we got a few pins that I was pretty excited about. Some that are kind of not great, but that's the whole toss up of trading pins. You don't know what you're going to get.
So after we chilled out at the room for a little bit and got our door all decorated,
and
decorated. We went and saw the kids area and the teen area. Actually, we didn't see the teen area.
No,
only the kids.
We accidentally saw the teen area when we were going up. We got on the wrong elevator.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a couple days. I think it was at day at sea.
I think we're supposed to be here. So at the beginning of the cruise, they do have
open house.
Yeah, and essentially it's an open house that you can go in, with your kid or just by yourself like we did, because I was super excited to do it. They had Andy's room there, basically, where you got to slide down a slide that was like Slinky Dong.
Yeah. Which if you follow on Instagram, I believe you posted that picture of you sliding down the slide or on top of Andy's.
Yeah, or at least on the bed. Yeah, because you go up steps and then you're on Andy's bed with a huge pillow. It's kind of awesome. And then you get to slide down Slinky Dog, which was really cool.
Yeah, the theming's amazing.
Yeah, and then they had an Avengers, an Academy, where they had Iron Man's suit, one of Iron Man's suit, Captain America's training shield, which was cool. It was all in cases and stuff. That's pretty much all they had there. There was a movie screen. There was a Mickey-themed area. Pretty generic, I guess, when it comes... I say generic, but Disney doesn't do anything generic.
It wasn't like over the top like Andy's room theming.
Exactly.
It was just regular Disney
kid stuff
theming,
to do. Tables, crafts, arts and crafts time, stuff like that. Still all really cool to look at. But after we were done viewing all that, there was a mandatory guest assembly drill at 4:00. This is to just go over all of the safety things. If she goes down, you're going to need to know what to do and where to go and what to grab.
Right.
So that's basically what this drill was.
And I know you've never been on a cruise. This was your first cruise.
Right. This was my first cruise. So.
And I've been on several. Every cruise line does this, just to kind of give you a heads up, like this is what you do in case of an emergency, and you get assigned, a loading area that you would load onto an evacuation boat. I don't know what a lifeboat.
I don't know what to call it.
It's a lifeboat, I think. I literally think
Jack called it a door.
Yeah. So I get it.
It didn't work out too well from him.
No. There was enough for him.
So after the drill, there was a huge sail away party, Mickey's sail away party, and that was at 4:30.
Cleverly named.
Cleverly named sail away party, which was really, really cool. I mean, everybody after the assembly drill basically went there. It's just a huge celebration to let's get this whole thing started. And actually kind of towards the end of it, right before, they do the horn. And the horn, I've seen YouTube videos of it, but actually hearing it, you're like...
Doesn't do it justice.
No, it really doesn't. But it just pumps you up for more of like, let's get this thing rolling and going. Yeah.
So I think they do the horn at the same time, and they let off like streamers or
streamers
confetti.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like a whole dance. Of course, it's a dance party, your favorite thing.
My favorite thing. Randy would love it.
And all the characters come out. It's not just Mickey. It's Mickey, Minnie, Goofy. It's basically the Fab Five and I think Chip and Dale.
Yeah.
And then some other dancers. And yeah, so it gets the kids excited at least, but I know a lot of adults too.
I was very excited.
Oh, I know.
So after that, I think we kind of just chilled out because again, we were exhausted. It's now, 5:00 at this point. We've now been up for more than 12 hours. So then was dinner. Our dinner time was first seating, and that was at 5:45. So there's two seatings. The first one was 5:45, and 8:15 is what they call the late or the second dinner service. So our first night was at Rapunzel's royal table, which someone was a little excited about.
So as excited as Ryan was for this whole cruise, when I found out we were going on the Magic in particular, I was beside myself. The theming in there is amazing. It's basically like you're going for her. I don't know if it's her birthday or just somebody's birthday celebration.
I think it might be hers.
I think because the lanterns and so you walk in and there's just the first thing you see is just the floating lanterns hanging from the ceiling. The painting, like the paint on all the walls around the windows, is her kind of in her style of her paintings in her room. So it just looks like she just, painted all over these walls. And the front of, there's like a stage because it's a dinner show, I guess, where they have characters and stuff. But the front is a mural of her, kind of, I guess, like the famous like mural of her sitting with her hair, as she's watching the lanterns. And it was definitely, I would say, like one of the highlights of this whole trip for me.
Yeah, and really that's even just more of a reason why they need to put Rapunzel more into the parks. Yeah,
even if they just, next to the bathroom, just added on, made a restaurant. I'm not even saying like do a whole ride. If you put this restaurant in Disney, like in Disney World, right there in Fantasyland, the bathrooms are already my favorite part of Magic Kingdom, which is very weird to say. But the theming is just amazing there. And even in Rapunzel's royal table, the theming down to the silverware. The plates look like she's painted on them. I think the bread bowl had either the sun on the bottom or outline of her around it.
Outline of her.
Your chair had the sun on it. The back. It was. I can't even describe it because it was just so beautiful.
Right now. But I guess a nice thing to know, not only about this dinner service, but for all of them, it's the same server. And actually, it's two servers. So one server is kind of like your main server.
Shout out to Maria.
Yeah, shout out to Maria. She was through the whole cruise, the same. So every night we ate at 5:45, and she was our main waiter. She took mainly our food order, and then the second server, kind of just the beverage server, took our drink order. And oh my gosh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Edmund.
Yeah, but
Eduardo.
I think it was Edward.
I think we called him Ed.
At least your father called her.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like his name was something else, but I think my dad asked him and he just said Eddie or Ed or whatever. Make it easy. So yeah, like you're with them the whole week, which is great because after the first night,
you already have your drink the second night at your table. So
Yeah.
if you ordered, basically, we both ordered a Coke for dinner, and the next night we already had, I think, 2 Cokes already on the
refill
table.
ready to go, which I only drank like 1 Coke a night, and I always had that extra Coke sitting there, and I'm like, I don't want this, but I'm glad that I'm not at least I'm not waiting on something to drink.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
So then that dinner was amazing.
Well, yeah, because then they have, so when you're waiting in line to get in, they have all of the, just literally left my head, the ruffians.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They have all the ruffians kind of like interacting with you as you're waiting to get seated. And they're, joking around with you. And then you get in and they're all kind of walking around the tables. And then they introduce Rapunzel. She comes up on stage. I think Flynn comes out at that time. They sing a song together. I think I Got Some Dreams. So they're all up there, doing the song. And then as you're eating, they come around to each table. So if you've ever been to Triata al Forno on the boardwalk, it's the Bon Voyage breakfast, and it's kind of the same setup of not so much of the show there, but they come around, they greet, they'll talk to you for a little bit, take pictures. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Well, moving on to dinner, there actually was a show that night that we did not see because we were just beyond pooped.
After waking
drained.
up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, at that point. But again, it's kind of the same thing as dinner. They have 2 showings. The first one was at 6:15 and the second one was at 8:30. So then you just went to your show opposite your dinner time. So ours was at 5:45 dinner time. So we would go to the 8:30 show every night. And the show that on the first night was, I think it was just called Twice Charmed.
Yes.
Which was basically just a kind of a retelling of just the story of Cinderella.
Right.
Which we would have seen had we not been up since
before
I'm trying to think of
the crack
something
of dawn.
funny. Yeah, but I can't think of it. We were
Sorry.
up mad early.
Yeah.
Drawing a close to that day, yeah. So day 2, overnight the ship sailed to Key West.
Yeah.
The ashore time, a time we could go ashore was 7:30. We ate breakfast at Cabanas, which was their buffet. Really, really good breakfast. Very good hash browns, just like McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good. And then we went back to the room because we actually had to call the golf car rental place that we rented a golf cart for 4 hours, which was interesting. At least booking through it because we kind of booked it on our own.
Right. We booked it online. I would suggest with any cruises that you go on, especially Disney, I mean, they do a good job with making sure everything's organized. They give you options. We actually booked this cruise, I want to say like a month and a half before we left. So we didn't have a ton of time.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, right. So it was kind of a last minute, like, yeah, let's do it kind of thing, which was great. But I wanted to mainly just kind of ride around Key West because you can get anywhere. It's not a big area. And I thought, it would be great, get a golf cart rental. It was more like I guess the one we ended up getting was a golf cart looking thing.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. And we just drove around to see all the touristy things. So the southernmost point, which is that buoy, that it's 90 miles from Cuba, from where you're standing, the tourist stuff, you got to do it. And then Mile Zero, which is Route 1, which actually runs right past our house here. So it was really cool to see the end of Route 1.
And why'd we get a golf cart? What was the main reason?
for Mammy.
Yep.
Pretty much my grandmother.
So she tagged along with us all day like a trooper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved every second of it.
It's a little bumpy out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the golf, so that whole, I think we booked it for 9.
Yeah, but then...
Well, no, we booked it for 8:30. So I called at 8 because they said, I was like, so will you pick us up from the terminal or whatever? And they're like, yeah, we'll pick you up. Just call us. And luckily it was still the U.S. So I could call. So I called and I was like, yeah, I was told to call a half an hour before. And they're like, oh, we don't have you down for a reservation. So then I started panicking. But
yeah, we both did.
They ended up getting there a little bit, half an hour later, which wasn't too bad. We had fun. I mean, we rode around. I don't think we used the full 4 hours. There wasn't a ton to see. And I think it was cloudy and it looked like it could have rained, which...
At that point, we actually turned back in to go back to the ship to do lunch, mainly because we didn't want to pay for lunch in Key West. So we were like, well, lunch, at the buffet at Cabanas is included already in
and it's good food.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good food, and it's quote free. So, so
included would be a better word, not free.
Included. So we definitely did that. And actually, shortly after lunch, then we chilled out, and then actually had a massage planned, a couple choice massage at Senses.
Yes.
Their spa.
On the first day when you get there, they have a whole bunch of, just like the open house for the kids clubs and things like that, they have an open house for the fitness center and for the, it's called like the Rainforest Room. They have like special showers and heated lounge chairs. So you get pretty much, they're just trying to sell you add-ons for the cruise.
They can.
Yeah. So everything's at a quote-unquote discounted price the first day. So since this cruise was a gift to us from my grandmother, we decided to splurge on the couple's choice.
Because why not?
Right. Because, I mean, when else are you going to get a massage on a cruise ship?
Pampered.
Right. And this wasn't just like a couple's massage. It was, you had a full like suite pretty much. So you walk in, there's 2 massage chairs. There is a little patio, I guess, like a little balcony.
A deck,
would be a better
balcony,
word for it. Which we weren't at sea, which I feel like it would be cool to be at sea to get this treatment because the balcony is glass and it has a jacuzzi tub out there, lounge chairs. So I think you would get a better view if you were at sea. We were at the port still when we got this, and it was kind of facing out to Key West, which wasn't horrible. I mean, it's not every day that you're in Key West. So.
Right, yeah.
So you walk in, well, you go to the locker room first and kind of change you get robes and slippers that are extremely uncomfortable because they're like flip slide thing.
Yeah, where they can
sandals.
wash them.
Yeah, which I guess is a good thing. And so then you get walked into your suite by your masseuses. Is that the plural for it? And you walk out to the balcony and you get a foot scrub. They do right out there on the lounge chairs, which was really nice and kind of just like cleaning the dead cells away. And then from there you get into the hot tub that's out there already ready to go. And I think it was like 25-30 minutes in the hot tub.
Yeah, that was really nice. They put
really,
like Epsom salt or something in it. Yeah, to
relaxation.
Even more, yeah.
Smooth your skin. And then they're like, make sure you drink water. So they had like a pitcher of water there and we were drinking. Yeah. And then I think I guess you get out, you get changed into just the robe because you're in your bathing suit at this point.
Yep.
And then you go into the room and they kind of talk to you about like, okay, what do you want kind of thing. So you get 75 minutes total of massage. So I ended up breaking mine down because, again, why not? I did a 50-minute just Swedish massage. It's hard to say. And then a 25-minute facial, just a regular facial to go along with it.
And I went with the straight 75-minute hot stone massage, which I was kind of hesitant at first to do, like, should I do hot stones? I've always wanted a hot stone massage. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just get the Swedish massage.
Yeah.
But the hot stones, definitely the way to go.
And was this was only your second massage, right? Because our honeymoon, we had one in Costa Rica. Yes. But then, this would be your second. So, why not? You're on a cruise. Go crazy. And then, so you do that. And then after you they gently wake you up with, I think it was like a bell or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I was asleep, but you wake up and they invite you back out to the balcony. So either you can get back in the jacuzzi, or they have like already out there, they have tea, like any kind of tea really. They open up a box that you can like look in
to pick from.
And you get fruit, chocolate covered strawberries, like fruit kebab things. So we just opted to kind of lay out on the lounge chairs because we only had, I think, a half an hour to kind of wake up from being asleep. But overall, probably the one of the most relaxing experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. I don't know if we'll ever do the couples choice
probably
again,
not,
just because it was
pricey.
Yeah, it was a little pricey. So we were already on board, but the onboard time that they sounded the classic horn for everyone to get on was 4:45, and after that was dinner at 5:45. At Lumiere's.
Oh, I was really hoping you'd do that French accent.
Lumiere's.
It's close enough.
Lumiere's. Anyway. Randy would say, "You sound like a vampire." That's my Randy voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. You can see he's great at accents.
I'm very good at the accent.
Mm-hmm.
So Lumiere's was nothing but a Beauty and the Beast themed dining experience. Not as far as like Be Our Guest restaurant,
No.
but just like French cuisine with murals of the different characters from Beauty and the Beast.
And little kind of hidden treats around. So like the chandelier, one of the big chandeliers when you first walk in is kind of, it looks like a rose on the top. But all around every few, I don't know, feet or so, there was like another little mini chandelier with, it looked like the glass with the rose, and the rose was actually the light. And there were like fallen rose petals within the light globe, I guess would be the word for it. Really, again, really nice theming. It was more elegant, but I feel like with it being a Disney cruise, you could amp it up like Be Our Guest, or at least just have the Beast walk in, or the Beast and Belle, or something. Not necessarily like a meet and greet, but just have them there. Yeah. Like it just seemed like it was just like another restaurant. Like,
it was more of a quieter restaurant because there wasn't, especially for Rapunzel's, there was always constantly music playing, or you were wanting to watch the show and still try to eat.
Yeah, but and it was just like rowdier because it's more of a party atmosphere. This again was more elegant, so it was more of a as quiet as it can be with a cruise ship full of children,
which was nice. And the food was really, really good. Not that we went too much into the food at Rapunzel's, but that food there was also really, really good. Of course, this was my first cruise, so this was the best food I've had on a cruise yet.
And I've been on at least two or three other cruise lines, and this was the Disney cruise line best food I've had on any cruise ship thus far. It really blew me away.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend not to skip out on the sit down dinner for sure.
Yeah.
So after dinner was a show at the Walt Disney Theater, Tangled the Musical. So this was at the same theater that they showed Twice Charmed at, but basically they just flip it to then now do Tangled the Musical, which, of course, who loved Rapunzel's dinner, who wouldn't want to go see Tangled the Musical?
I mean, you would be crazy. It was really, I think, one of the best shows I've seen. I know they do like kind of it reminded me of more like the Beauty and the Beast show that they have at Hollywood Studios. I don't know. Is it called Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
I think. But they actually come out and they, at the part with the floating lanterns, it's like interactive kind of. They walk down the aisles of the show and everybody has like floating lanterns on crew members, not people, because that would be a little much, but I would have loved it. And then they have like the graphics going up the side of the wall of lanterns looking like it's floating. And it was kind of just like a shortened, just like the Beauty and the Beast show. It's just a shortened story.
Yeah, of the movie.
Of the movie.
Right.
but definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely good. And that show was so good. It made me kind of, question like, oh, what did we miss with Twice Charmed?
Right.
The show the night before, because Disney is definitely well known for these shows on their ships, which is crazy. So after the show, gosh, what did we kind of just hung out, I think, afterwards.
Again, it was another like full day.
Yeah, a full day of.
And after the massage, like
you're done.
You're already done. So then we had to make it through dinner and make it through a show, and then I think it was like kind of the ship was a little rocky that night. I tend to get a little seasick, so I was kind of feeling it, and I was ready. I think we might have walked around the cruise ship just a little bit, but another early-ish night.
Well, then we ended up back in the room at 11 o'clock at night. And what would you do at 11 o'clock at night? Brush your teeth, get ready for bed? No, you order room service order. Did we order 2, 3? 3. 3 Mickey Premium bars.
I mean, not just you and I. Let's clear that up.
Yes.
Because, I was stuffed. I think we got popcorn at the show.
Yep, at the show,
So, I was already stuffed. But my father, and I believe my mother had one too, and those were the 3, and I think I just took a bite. Room service, because it's totally
included, and all you have to do is just tip them when they get in the room.
We don't have to tip, but that's the nice thing to do.
For sure. Definitely the nice thing to do. But tip them, and then you have 3 Mickey Premium bars that we chowed down on. Yeah. And then we brushed our teeth and went to bed.
Yeah.
Because that was just a nice close to an awesome day.
Mm-hmm.
So day 3 was a total day at sea. There was no docked. We weren't docked anywhere.
What kind of day at sea?
It was a Marvel day at sea. So everything Marvel, superhero, jam-packed.
Would you say it was a marvelous day at sea?
Insert cricket noise here.
That's how many they said that joke on every single cruise ship announcement. The captain
have
or whoever.
A marvelous day at sea.
Yeah,
and they're like, okay,
the weather is marvelous today, and I'm like, after the 4th one, you get a little. It was funny, like maybe the 1st or 2nd.
After
time.
The guy that brought us breakfast in, because we actually ordered breakfast in room in the morning, which you can get. He actually said, "Oh, have a marvelous day." After that, I was done with it. So we actually did have breakfast in the room. Mm-hmm. You get a card. They're already in your room. It took me like 5 minutes to find them, and then I asked my wife, and she's like, "Oh, it's in the drawer." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She already knew where it was.
Always ask the wife.
So we filled out the card the night before. We put it on our door. They come and collect it in the morning. You can mark down what time you want it, what kind of drinks you want. It's really just like continental.
Yeah.
Pastries. We opted in for the donuts. We got coffee and
fruit.
Orange juice. Oh yeah, and a bowl of fruit
and muffins.
Yeah,
we went all out.
We did.
Again, it's included, so why wouldn't you get everything?
Right. Yeah. And so after we did that and kind of woke up and had a nice on the promenade, veranda. On the veranda.
Yes.
That's probably a more cruise term.
Well, I think every other cruise line says balcony, and Disney says veranda. Because it's Disney.
So after breakfast, we kind of just sat out by the adult-only pool area for quite a while.
Pretty much most of the day.
Yeah, the whole morning.
Into the afternoon. Because we even went to lunch a little. Well, we went and got like snacks while we were out by the pool deck, because they have not just like cabanas, which is the buffet, but then on the main deck where the pools are, they have a shawarma station.
Yeah, and then they have a burger.
Yeah, they have
pizza,
a build your own like rice bowl. They
ice cream machine.
Yes,
soft serve that you can get almost practically anytime you want.
No, it was anytime you want until the end. Until the last midnight. Day was you can get it 24 hours a day.
I'm gonna have to check the sheet.
Pretty sure it's 24 hours because that was the whole thing. I mean, I don't think anybody was up past a certain time.
I'm looking.
Okay, but yeah, so you have the ice cream station. They have a bunch of little eateries, pizza, things like that. So I think we went and got like pizza for a snack. Continued to sit out the pool. We got an order of drinks to drink and enjoy around the pool. Was I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was called Ice Cream, like Mike Wazowski. Ice Cream. It was from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Still pretty late though for ice cream.
So 12 hours a day, not 24. Yeah. I'm never going to be invited back. So yeah, we enjoyed like snacks and drinks around the pool. Pretty much just enjoyed. It was beautiful weather.
It was really, really nice.
Perfect day for a pool.
And what was kind of cool to make it even more immersive, throughout the day, they made kind of like special Marvel character announcements. Like at one point they came over the intercom. It was all kind of like pre-recorded, but it just made you... it wasn't pre-recorded.
It wasn't real?
They called Thor to come pick up his luggage because no one else could, because his hammer was in it. And only he can pick up the hammer.
And then they called for, I think, Peter Parker was needed at the media desk.
Yep.
For check-in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of,
just
very
those
immersive,
silly, like, little announcements throughout the day just made you feel even more like... I'm on a Marvel Day at Sea cruise. Like,
and even
I
can't even imagine like kids too, like how they, like
it just must be like completely shell shocked.
Like, oh my gosh, like they're actually here. So yeah.
And on actually the 2 previous days, they had character meet and greets basically the whole entire day. This was just now replaced with Marvel character meet and greets. Right. Loki, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye throughout the whole entire day.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. We didn't actually... Well, we did at one point. I think we took pictures with Minnie on the...
Yeah, the last day. What was the last night?
Last night,
yeah. We met Max and
that was kind of like impromptu,
we just walked
we just ran into him.
Like it was casual.
But a lot of the other meet and greets you compare it to Disney World and you're like, oh, that's 30 minutes. That's a long time. But on a cruise ship, you think... you can look at the line and see, okay, yeah, it just wraps around the corner, but they're actually they look like a long wait.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we didn't wait.
It's not the same setup as Disney World or even Disneyland. Like, they're not PhotoPass, technically, like photographers. So, like in the park, can you take a picture with my phone? Like, they're not allowed to take a picture with your phone.
Which completely threw us off.
Yeah, so you have to buy... the photo package, which I think it was like $150,
if not more.
No, it was like $250 because I said if it was $150 we would have done it. Yep. But I think if this is your only Disney vacation or if this is your family's first cruise, I would definitely spring for it because then you don't have to worry about it. But that's why we didn't do any meet and greets, really, because we didn't have the photo package and it would have been like a hassle.
Yeah.
But
so after we kind of sat out, there was a show at the Walt Disney Theater. Not like the past 2 nights. This was kind of a shorter 30-minute show. And it was Doctor Strange Journey into the Mystic Arts. And that played at 3, 4:15, and 6:15. And we actually went to the 4:15.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because we went right from there to dinner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the show was really, really cool. Actually, I dragged you in.
Yeah, but it's a Disney
Again,
show,
anything Disney does is...
They got the kids
involved.
involved.
They had fireworks on the stage.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And smoke and all that kind of stuff. And the immersion into Doctor Strange's world, It was a really cool experience to even get you more into the Marvel Day at Sea realm of everything. So after that, then, we went to dinner. It was 5:45. Again, it was at Lumiere's. Mm-hmm. So same restaurant, but it was a different theme-ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's all the same decor and all that, but it was Marvel themed.
Well, and the napkins were folded as an A for Captain America and...
Avengers.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's okay.
She's
learning. She's learning. Rosetta Stone, but Marvel.
I don't do the Marvel, so this is new for me. But yeah, the menu was comic book, which was really, really cool. It had all the sketches.
Yeah.
And,
but all the menu items are basically like Iron Man spaghetti or
Captain America
Hawkeye's,
burger. I do know that.
Hawkeye's steak.
Yeah.
Just silly stuff like that. But again, it gave you more of that Marvel feel themed.
Yeah.
So after dinner, we hung out until we saw a star-spangled USO show.
Is that the night we went to the Keys?
Actually, yeah.
Bar?
Before that, we did actually go to the Keys,
which is the adult.
and had a adult-only piano bar thing that they at the time they were playing Elton John music. I think was the theme of at least that hour. So we got a drink there, which was eh.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. I think because, again, like you have all this Disney immersion everywhere, and this was just kind of like a piano bar. So it's nice to get away from the Disney aspect of it if you want to, but I don't know. I mean, you expect Disney to be everywhere, and it wasn't there. It was freezing in there too.
Yeah,
it was like 20
it was
degrees.
Weird. Yeah, but we had to kill time.
Yeah.
Before we saw the USO show, which was really, really awesome. It was essentially just a realm of
1940s.
Music. And then
themed, like everything was 1940s. They were dressed in the 1940s wear, which my grandmother appreciated, and she was singing along to all the songs. She's like, I'm probably the only one in here that was alive then
and knows all the songs.
And she's like, I used to dance to these songs. So it was really, she loved it. Yeah, that was the coolest thing about
part of that show.
Yeah,
was seeing her eyes through all these old songs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the show, then Captain Marvel came out, and if you hit. No, not Captain America. Captain America. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't even Marvel.
Wow.
Do the Marvel. So Captain America came out.
And thanked us.
And thanked us for coming. But basically, if you've ever seen Captain America, the first film, actually, he did these types of shows in the movie to help promote kind of the army and that whole initiative back then for... Would it have been World War II? Let's go with that. Sure. So that was a cool show. After that, then we just waited around for the big grand finale show, Heroes Unite. That was at 10:15,
which is late.
That was a very, very late one. And actually,
it's a kids' cruise.
The whole time, I was at least worried of what time a lot of these shows were. Because I didn't want to miss it, and I'm
and you think about dinner when you go out to dinner here, you think like, okay, it'll be like 2.5 hours or whatever, but they know when the shows are happening on the ship, so they kind of move things along like
right.
They kind of speed through it.
Yeah. So that show was at 10:15. It was a stunt action show with all of the top Marvel characters, everybody from the Avengers, and then Red Skull and Loki kind of course, interrupted the show.
Well, the whole point was Iron Man had a new invention,
technology that would help power
this cruise ship.
A ship, a whole town. Very Marvel-esque thing.
But it, again, cool, cute show.
Yeah.
Had a zip line and all the other stuff that you don't expect to happen out in the middle of the ocean. Yeah,
really, really, really cool. And the fireworks off the side of the ship. They're the only cruise line that do it. It was really, really awesome. And actually part of the whole Marvel Day, just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, the new Captain Marvel,
the actual Captain Marvel
was on the ship, and this was within a couple new months because her new movie just came out, Captain Marvel. So it was really, really cool to see the latest movie kind of included in the ship and the show for it all. But yeah, so after the show, that was Marvel Day at Sea for us. So to move to day 4, getting closer to the near of the end of the whole vacation. So day 4 was Nassau, which was also kind of Pirate Day, more Pirate Night esque. But you were able to go ashore at 7 a.m. That morning we actually ate breakfast at Lumiere's, which you can do.
every morning.
Every morning. But it's a longer, of course, experience than just going to Cabanas and just grabbing something quick or just getting the room service, continental type stuff.
I mean, that day we didn't have a huge plan for Nassau, except we did stumble upon, which was perfect for Pirate Day, a Pirates of Nassau museum.
Yes, which was actually, I did a little research before we went on the cruise, and I found this, museum of pirates, which
dream come true.
Yes, I love pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean, anything pirates. I absolutely just love. So of course I wanted to do this museum, and Blackbeard and all that. We're all, of course, real people. It was a really awesome experience and walkthrough. And if you're ever in Nassau, recommend it.
Yeah.
So that's basically all we did.
Yeah.
At Nassau. Other than that, it was interesting to say the least. So the onboard time we were already on board though, but the onboard time for everyone else to get on board was 5:15. Dinner that night, of course, again, 5:45, common theme. But this night was actually Animator's Palette, which is all about animation and starting from just sketches all the way to adding color to the full-length feature animated film of it all, which was, at least for me, very, very hyped, and I was excited for it. But actually experiencing all it through,
yeah, I was going to ask what you thought of.
I was kind of bummed out, I guess, about it.
I will say, I went on a Disney cruise when I was 3, 6, something. I was young, and this Animator's Palette stood out in my mind. Now, when I went, it was pretty much like a light bright situation where they had pictures on the wall that had lights behind it that lit up and made it colorful by the end of your meal. This was actually screens. As cool as it was to see like the doodles and they kind of do the sketches all around the whole entire restaurant, and then I guess they take one sketch on each screen and then they animate it and add color. It was cool. It just, I guess in my head of what I remember as a kid, the nostalgia aspect of it wasn't there for me. It was all like too new almost.
Yeah. And the food wasn't
as good.
No, it wasn't as good as the other restaurants. Even the Marvel themed dinner night was actually, I think, even better than Animator's Palette.
And I will say this was another night, probably the worst night for motion sickness.
Rocking, yeah.
I think the way that we were seated almost made it worse too. But you could feel the rolling of the waves. We were going so slow, and I actually had to leave because of it.
For me, at least for Animator's Palette, it was, I don't know, It's I get into that weird thing, when do I eat and when do I watch the show type of thing. Right. And even though the show was just a movie screen, the lights went down so like you can't see what you're eating.
I think overall, if this is your first cruise or I guess your first cruise and you have little kids and you're seated by a screen, it might have been better. We were in the middle.
Yeah, so we had to look far away rather than just...
Which was, I guess, a good placement because that's where, at the end, Mickey comes out and does, in his Phantasmic outfit. So he comes out and does, this whole thing in the middle. So he was actually right by our table, which was cool. But yeah, I think I would have rather been seated by a screen. And especially on newer and bigger ships, they actually have an interactive with Crush kind of thing, which I think would be cooler here. But, it's what can you do?
Yeah. So moving on from dinner, it was pirate night. So they had a Pirates in the Caribbean party, and pretty much a dance party.
Yeah.
Of course, because it wouldn't be Disney if it wasn't a dance party.
Right.
That was at 7:30.
Everybody on the ship got bandanas in their room.
Yeah.
They were Mickey skull and crossbone kind of thing. Bandanas that you could wear. everybody was kind of encouraged to wear it. There were a ton of people dressed up. Again, it's a Disney ship, so I guess go all out.
And there were people. Like,
it was full on. I mean, I was confused at one point if he was like playing Jack Sparrow, because this guy had the full get up. The girl had a full like wench's outfit, I guess. Yeah. Like kids were dressed to the nine. Yeah. It was.
If you have it, wear it.
Yeah, don't be afraid to take it.
Yeah. And again, this through, at one point of this, Mickey zip lines down, which was really, really cool. And of course, more fireworks, because why not?
And this was a longer fireworks show than the Marvel. This was like, I guess, the real.
Yeah, the Marvel was more of a pyrotechnic included into the show. Yeah. This was a specific firework in the sky show,
which again, it's not going to be any illuminations, but it was pretty amazing to be out in the middle of the ocean
and seeing fireworks.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Definitely awesome. So after that wrapped up, they did have a show at the Walt Disney Theater that night, which our show again was at 8:30. It wasn't necessarily a Disney Broadway type musical show, but it was a comedian, Michael Harrison, that did ventriloquism. And he was actually from America's Got Talent.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So he was from there. Funny show with kids.
Yes. I think because
it's a Disney cruise ship. I get it.
I think the funniest thing was when he accidentally messed up. And he kind of caught himself when he was doing the voices he was doing. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, because I couldn't do it. He at one point was doing 2 different characters, one on each arm, and him talking to them, and it wasn't even a breath. Like, it sounded like you're having a conversation with someone else. Like, he didn't skip a beat. But the first, I think when he introduced the secondary character, he accidentally did the wrong voice for the wrong puppet, and
which
kind
is funny.
So he caught himself. He was like, wrong voice, and kind of reset it, which I think that was probably the funniest part of that show. It's something to do. It's, if you don't want to wait in line and meet characters, or it was something that you could go and sit and watch.
So after that, after the show, we kind of just went back.
I think we went to the hot tub this night. At one night I know we went up and kind of sat at the adults only section, which is really where we hung out, and kind of just relaxed in the hot tub.
Yeah. Well, moving on to day 5.
I will say you did forget about the slide.
I did.
I think that was on the Marvel day.
It was the day we hung out at the pool. It was one of those, you get in, cross your legs, cross your arms, and the door just drops.
Yeah.
And you go straight down. Yeah. And this is on the ship. You can do it anytime. Well, not anytime.
Well, this is while the ship's out at sea, and you go out over the edge of the ship.
Yeah. Which was really, really, really cool. Did that overall. So at the whole cruise, I did it 4 times.
Yeah, which I can't even. I did it 0.
There was other kids that, if to say they did it for an hour straight was probably too little. They just kept getting in line. I
did more of the kid-friendly, I guess, one. However, everybody else that went down before me went down pretty slow. Even a guy before me, like a grown adult, was like, "Oh, I'm gonna race down at the bottom," and he even took a little bit to get down. So I was like, okay, it'll go nice and slow. And I got in and just flew down. So to me, that was the thrill factor. I don't need a floor opening up underneath me in a tube of water over the ocean.
So moving on back to day 5, which was Castaway Cay, even though it's spelled K-C-A-Y. Everybody there pronounced it as Key. So we called it Castaway Cay.
Yeah.
So we were able to go ashore at 8:30 a.m., which we were pretty darn close to that 8:30 time, because we were super excited to get onto Disney's own private island, which was by far absolutely amazing. We actually ended up getting kind of pre-booking beforehand during the planning process, that if you need help planning, I can absolutely help you do that. Throw out to Catch the Magic Vacations. But anyway, we booked the Castaway Cay getaway package, what included snorkeling, snorkeling gear, rather, a float, like a pool.
You can either get like an inner tube or just like a mat.
Yep. And then it also included an hour bike rental, which we actually ended up doing the bike rental and the snorkeling.
Yeah. That day, the weather wasn't great. Even when we got on, it was cloudy, overcast, a little cold, I would say.
Yeah.
So we were worried that we wouldn't be able to even snorkel, which was the whole point because, as I guess we did that first, right? We snorkeled right away because we were afraid of the weather.
Yeah.
So we actually snorkeled out. They have underwater treasures. Yeah. Like kind of it's like an underwater scavenger hunt. They have a Mickey statue, a Minnie statue, what's it called?
Nautilus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
an actual ride vehicle from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea that they had at Walt Disney World. And then when they took that out, they put tons of them. Basically, Disney holds on to everything. They took a ride vehicle from that ride, shipped it out to Castaway Cay and sunk the whole entire thing in this little cove lagoon area that you could snorkel, which was beyond amazing to go out and snorkel. But mind you, it is like a mile out before you even get there.
It was a lot. I think swimming out was fine because we knew, like, okay, we're going to have to swim a while. And the current wasn't too bad when we first went out.
Especially going out.
Yeah. So we actually went out twice. The first time we went out, saw all of everything. We were swimming back to go find Minnie, and we actually stumbled upon a sea turtle, which was amazing. Unfortunately, we have footage of us snorkeling, but we don't have footage of the sea turtle, which is a huge bummer to me because that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had snorkeling. So we actually came back. We forgot the GoPro on the ship. So my parents actually went back and got the GoPro. Came back, went back out after lunch. Or was that?
Yeah, we went back after lunch. Yeah. And just to talk about the weather too. Actually, it was so bad they had actually canceled the morning of. I had actually booked me and my father-in-law a jet ski experience at Castaway Cay that was canceled due to rough seas. And not only that, I think they had a couple other excursions that were all canceled because of the wind advisory out there. So after we snorkeled, then we biked. That's when we got the bike rental and biked down, which was the runway, an old World War II runway that was used. So we biked all the way down that way to Serenity Bay, which is the adult-only beach and eatery area.
And they also have a bar over there too.
Yeah, and a bar. Yep. So we ate lunch there, which was really, really good.
It was like barbecue,
ribs, ribeye, steak, burgers, hot dogs,
sides, a ton of sides.
Yeah.
It was a lot of food.
Yeah, a cookout on
the beach.
Crazy cookout. After that, then we kind of biked back down, and that's when we went snorkeling again the second time, hoping to see the sea turtle because we had the GoPro at that point. Didn't see it, unfortunately.
We didn't. If you do want to see us snorkeling, though, we have a snorkeling video.
It's on Mouse Bros YouTube channel. Yeah. You can go check out. Just type in Mouse Bros on YouTube and go to our channel, and you'll see the video on there among actually the podcast. Not that we filmed the podcast yet, but you can also listen to the podcast on there and view our wonderful logo.
Yeah.
So where are we? What did we do?
We snorkeled. The rest of the family kind of headed back. My dad and my grandmother headed back because it had started to rain while we were out snorkeling, which I think caused some trouble coming back. The waves were kind of picking up. It was a little rough. So getting back was, it was a lot to swim all the way back a second time. We were pretty much exhausted. We did end up they have kind of a water park out in the water, basically just like 2 slides that you climb up the top and go down. So we did that a couple times. That was really cool. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. And then, yeah, we kind of headed back because it was picking up. It started to rain again, pretty bad this time. So we headed back to the ship.
So the onboard time for everyone was 4:45. And of course, as always, dinner was at 5:45. But this night it was at Rapunzel's Royal Table again, but not the same experience from the first night. The theme was Till We Meet Again. And it was because, of course, it was the last night of the cruise. It was kind of just a see you real soon type of thing, which was nice. And that night they did have another show at the Walt Disney Theater that we saw that night, named Disney Dreams. And that was at 8:30. That actually is an award-winning show
on any cruise line.
Yeah, it was
the best
awarded the best, I guess, Broadway style type musical on any cruise line, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
to have that, and it absolutely was an awesome Broadway show, because you can only see it, even Tangled and Toy Story, you can only see these on the ship.
Yeah. So this one the storyline was a girl going to sleep, and the mom was tucking her in, and she was talking about she didn't want to go to sleep and have, I guess it was
like sweet dreams and stuff. And
so she was like going to sleep, and Peter Pan knocks on her window and flies in and tries to teach her how to fly. And if she can't fly by a certain time,
it tries to help her basically figure out her dream.
Yeah. So then
by a certain time, by the time she wakes up, it's I think 6 or 7.
Yeah. So she, at the end, spoiler alert, she can fly. But yeah, you have Peter Pan, the Cinderella story, Little Mermaid story, Sebastian comes out, different characters, Lion King.
Yeah, through all the animated classics are pretty much in it.
Yeah, the Lion King part was my favorite. Again, they came out and walked up and down the aisles. They had dancers. They had the drum thing. Which
it very much had the feel of their actual Broadway Lion King show.
Yeah.
In that plays in New York.
Right.
Which was very, very cool. A nice throw to that show, which was really cool. That show was really, really awesome.
And that even ended with fireworks.
Yeah, actual fireworks on stage. Just a perfect show for to wrap up your whole entire cruise experience.
Yeah.
It's what Disney is absolutely all about, remembering everything. It started with a mouse to these wonderful animated classic films that we all enjoy and love and have attached memories to then wrap that now into your cruise line vacation.
Right.
It just makes you love Disney even more. And especially, I know for us, we'll definitely be back on a Disney cruise, because that was by far the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess next morning, we don't have to go into too much detail, but you wake up early, you get breakfast at the same place you ate dinner the night before. And then they take you to the airport, and you kind of sit around and wait a little bit and
for your flight and
fly home.
And that's pretty much that.
For you, what was, I guess, your favorite, or what stood out to you for your first one? It was your first cruise.
Yeah.
2, your first Disney cruise. And 3, it was free. Free for you anyway. But.
Yeah. I enjoyed all of it, and I loved all of it. To pick one part of it all is extremely hard.
Yeah.
Castaway Cay, to be in the middle of the Bahamas on Disney's own private island, is the only way you can get there is via a Disney cruise ship that sails either into the Western or Eastern Caribbean or the Bahamas. Is the only way to get there, which was a very awesome experience to snorkel and to see the Nautilus. I almost want to say that day.
Yeah, to me, I mean, Castaway Cay, everything about, like, there were certain things about the ship, obviously, that I liked, and, the shows and stuff were awesome, but to me, one, I am kind of have a fear of open water and being on a cruise and getting seasick. So anything on land really is my favorite, but Castaway Cay, I really wish the weather would have been nicer, that we could have, we would have snorkeled probably, I think total we snorkeled about 3 hours. It was an hour and a half each time.
Yeah.
But I think we could have probably spent more time if the weather was nicer.
We would have been one of the last people, called in from the horn to say, come on back.
So it was disappointing that the weather wasn't 100% great weather, but just all the more reason to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of all this, we're talking about doing another cruise come August of 2020, which is a 3-night cruise that only goes to Castaway Cay
for
twice,
2 days.
For 2 days. It basically sails out, stays at Castaway Cay for 2 days, and comes right back.
And that one leaves out of Port Canaveral, which that is Disney's
own
cruise
port
terminal.
Yes.
Where we went out of Miami, which we just kind of use there. So it's kind of, they try to spruce it up as much as they can, but
it seems very temporary.
Right. You go out of Port Canaveral, you're walking through Mickey's head, the shape. They have the ships. I think it's just the Magic, actually, the one that we went on, like the ship. Yep. What is that called?
Like a diorama?
Yeah, something like that. Out in the middle that you can look at. And so I'll definitely be more excited to do that and maybe tag on a few days at Disney World.
Yeah. Can't wait until the next cruise. Absolutely, for sure. Well, I will say, if you like this episode, if you like this type of thing where we talk about our recent trips, and in the future there are more trips planned, not only with Amanda and I, but Randy and his fiance,
the whole family, really.
Yeah, Katie. They'll be going on their honeymoon, and we're doing a huge group family trip coming up in January. So if you'd like to listen or talk about these things, just let us know, and we'll absolutely do more episodes like this of just talking about Disney vacations, because who doesn't want to go back on a Disney vacation?
Right. And if you have any questions about booking a vacation,
you can reach out to me at Capture the Magic Vacations. Yeah. Well, all in all, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, as it definitely helps us improve the show. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.